So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I believe to be the top 3 worst Scarlet and Violet sets that you can invest into as of right now. I really wanted to make this video and do a top 5, but when I was looking at all the sets and just already what I know, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of arguments to be made for a lot of sets of why they are good investments as of right now in the Scarlet and Violet era, but there was 3 specific sets that to me were just obviously not really good pickups. Now, as of right now, if you were to buy all these, right, all these booster boxes or ETBs or whatever, and you were to wait 2 or 3 years from now, they will probably be more expensive than they are now. But to use your money optimally right now at these sets and their products and the current prices, they're really just not that great. So I will be doing a deep dive into each of these sets and why I truly believe that these are really not great buys as of right now. So first, I feel like this is the most obvious, like not really good pickup right now. It's Stellar Crown. Now, Stellar Crown by itself isn't the worst set ever. It does have some stuff going for it, but when you combine all the factors with this set, the prices you're seeing right now for the booster box, it's not really that great of a buy. So the release date was September 13th of 2024, so only about 9 months old, so it's not even a year old yet. So it maybe has another like 2 years or so of being reprinted possibly. The market price for the booster box at this moment is $212, $51 above MSRP, 32% above MSRP if you want the percentage. So it is above MSRP, but so is every single other like booster box and specialty ETB. So it's not really surprising it's above MSRP, but you take into account this set is pretty new, and it's already this much above MSRP if you care about that. So that says something about the price. It's pretty expensive. And one thing is worth noting with this price as well is that there has not really been a booster box reprint yet, which is why it's gotten this expensive. And I think in some time it will probably get a reprint of some sort. It's possible, maybe they skip this because Pokemon doesn't always reprint every single product for every single set. So booster boxes may never get reprinted for this set. That's possible. But the fact it hasn't gotten a booster box reprint yet, I feel like at some point it may get one. And this being not the most popular set out there, I feel like a reprint would probably do more damage to a set like Stellar Crown than, let's say, to a set like Destined Rivals or Surging Sparks or something like that. But we have seen previously some reprints do absolutely nothing to booster box prices, so that could also happen. But as of right now, Stellar Crown at its current price point, and it hasn't gotten a booster box reprint, I feel like that already is a good reason why you shouldn't buy it. But when you do an even deeper dive to Stellar Crown, like there's really not that much going for it. It has a couple things, but not much. So first of all, there's no real strong chase cards in Stellar Crown. Like they do have, a couple of first gen starter Pokemon, which will make this set probably perform okay in the long run. It has Squirtle and Bulbasaur, but honestly, they're not that expensive cards. They are some, collectible cards that people do talk about from Scarlet and Violet, but they're not like Magikarp level, right? Squirtle and Bulbasaur, they're only illustration rares. Magikarp is just an illustration rare, but it's talked about obviously way more than Squirtle and Bulbasaur. But these are the top chases. They are worth noting, which is why, like I said, the set is not the worst thing ever, but it just doesn't have anything that notable. No SARs from the set are extremely sought after. Obviously, Terapagos. It's the top, or it's the Pokemon you see in the front of the box. And I'm pretty sure it is the most expensive SIR in the set as well, but I believe it's under $50. So there's no extremely popular SIR in the set. And honestly, Squirtle and Bulbasaur are basically the only cards that people really talk about from Stellar Crown because they're first gen Pokemon. And also there's not just any popular in super sought after cards. This is an extremely small set. There's only 6 SARs. I think 4 of them are Pokemon, 2 of them are supporters. It only has 6 SARs and 13 IRs, so pretty small set comparatively to other sets. It's pretty small, and it also has the second lowest set value in Scarlet and Violet. So the total set value is only $394. Now, if you think about this, right, pretty sure there are a lot of cards, not a lot of cards, but there's a decent amount of cards in the Scarlet and Violet era that you take, just one card from some sets it's more expensive than the entirety of Stellar Crown. It is, a very cheap set overall. So yeah, it's the second lowest, so it's very cheap. And the top chases in the set, like I mentioned, they're not very expensive. So the Squirtle illustration rare is $51, and the Bulbasaur illustration rare, which I forgot to put the IR there, is $47. So there's no extremely expensive chase in this set. Has a low set value. It's overall just not that big and expensive of a set. You take into account that this set is also relatively new. There's been no booster box reprint yet. There's no strong chase cards. I mean, overall, there's really not much to say here that it's a good investment. So I think Stellar Crown just belongs as being probably at this point one of the worst investments right now. So next here, Shrouded Fable. Now, Shrouded Fable could be argued that maybe it's a decent investment because some people have argued, possibly Shrouded Fable won't get a reprint, which we'll see. But the release date for the set was August 2nd of 2024, so it's about 10 months old now. The market price for the ETB is $63, $13 above MSRP, which is 26% above it. And yeah, so it's not extremely expensive out of all the specialty sets. It's actually very cheap compared to all the other specialty set ETBs, but there's a big reason for that. It is worth noting, there has really not been any ETB reprint yet that I'm aware of. It could be argued, the ETB may never get reprinted, then maybe it's a good buy because, we have seen previously with some, specialty sets like, Paladin Fates, 151, they really haven't gotten any like real reprint where prices have gone down, which is why 151 ETBs are so expensive. The same thing with Paladin Fates. So it could be argued then that maybe Shrouded Fable is a good buy if they never reprint it at this price point. But I feel like even then, Shrouded Fable is just such an not very popular set that it's not, in my opinion, really worth buying at this price point. There's no real strong chase cards. If you look at the top 3 cards in this set, 2 out of 3 of them are not even Pokemon. One of them is a gold item card, which is the most expensive card in the set. It's an Earthen Vessel and a gold energy, which I think is a darkness energy. So yeah, I mean, if that says anything about this set, I don't know what does. I know the Cassiopeia is a pretty, cool card or whatever, but it has dropped a lot in value. So I mean, just that statistic alone says a lot about this set. And just overall, Shrouded Fable is the least popular set in Scarlet and Violet by far. I mean, by far. Like I mentioned, out of all the other specialty sets, this is the cheapest ETB by far. And even with that being the case, the sales for this ETB are extremely low when you even compare it to other specialty sets that are much more expensive. For example, 151. 151 ETBs are $250, yet they sell just as often or even a little bit more than Shrouded Fable. And 151 ETBs are like 4 times more expensive than Shrouded Fable, yet they sell around the same amount. So that says something there. Paladin Fates, it's around what, like 170, 180 now. They sell just as much, or actually a little bit more than Shrouded Fable, I think, if I remember right. So yeah, Prismatic, obviously newer set. They sell obviously a lot more than Shrouded Fable. So yeah, I mean, all these Prismatic ETBs at this point are like $100, $110. So this sells the least out of all of those, and all of them are way more expensive than Shrouded Fable. So, it could be an argument to be made, though, back then, it was a good pickup at the low 30s, because at that point, you're literally buying it like wholesale, basically. I remember you could get cases on eBay for like $330. At that point, yeah, you could have bought them, and they would have been, then a good investment, because buying in the low 30s for literally any set for an ETB would be extremely good, but the time has passed. They're not in the low 30s anymore. Now they are $63, and at this price point, I think it is not a very good pickup. And the sales volume at this price point just speaks for itself. It's extremely low because this set is not popular at all. I remember people were talking about this set as it was going to be like the sleeper set that everyone hated in the beginning, and then people start to like. But we are this far into Shrouded Fable's release, and it just doesn't seem to be the case. There's no notable chases in here that could even make that a possibility. Like I mentioned, 2 out of the 3 top chase cards are not even Pokemon. So, yeah. Now, lastly here, this might be sort of a hot take. I don't really think it is, but Obsidian Flames. Now, I know people are going to be like, well, look at how expensive it is now. But there's a reason, in my opinion, it is so expensive. So this set is an older one. It was released on August 11th of 2023. So I didn't put, I guess, the time frame, but that's about like 2 years at this point it's been released. So it's been out for quite a bit. It is the oldest set that I've put on here. The market price is $239, $78 above MSRP, which is about 48%. So this booster box, since it's about 2 years old at this point, it has gotten multiple reprints. It's gotten reprinted twice, to my knowledge. Both reprints did not affect prices that much, and this being at this point about 2 years old and it's already gotten 2 reprints, it's very possible this may not get reprinted again for the booster box. And there is a bigger argument to be made with this one because obviously it's gotten reprinted, unlike Stellar Crown, which hasn't. So it's possible it won't get reprinted, and that could be an argument to be made that maybe it's a good pickup. But I feel like there's a lot of reasons, even with that being said, maybe it won't get reprinted. Overall, I feel like this booster box in this set is kind of inflated due to this new market. Charizard is a very mainstream Pokemon. Remember, which I'll talk about here, Darkness Ablaze. Darkness Ablaze came out, Sword and Shield during like the craziness. Everyone liked Darkness Ablaze and the Charizard. Well, Darkness Ablaze, we'll talk about that performance, but just overall, Charizard, very mainstream Pokemon during the time of the boom and everything. Darkness, Obsidian Flames got super expensive to where it's at now, and I truly believe that's a big reason why this has gotten so expensive is because of this new market. A lot of people that just like the mainstream Pokemon, like Charizard, feel like that really boosted the performance of this booster box, and I do feel like once this new market leaves and the market starts to cool down, I feel like where it's at right now, the growth is probably not going to be that crazy, and I think it will be sort of slow once the new market leaves because overall this set is extremely expensive for what it is. And comparing to Darkness Ablaze, I wouldn't say this is the same comparison. It's not apples to apples comparing the set to Darkness Ablaze because Darkness Ablaze didn't have any alternate arts. It didn't have any like Trainer Gallery stuff. Obsidian Flames does have the SARs, it does have the IRs, so it's not missing that component to this era. So it is kind of hard to compare the two because they're not completely the same, but they both are based around Charizard, which is the only thing I can really compare it to. And Darkness Ablaze has performed far worse compared to other Sword and Shield sets. You compare Darkness Ablaze to Chilling Reign Fords, Darkness Ablaze booster box at this point around 250. Vivid has performed around at the same as Darkness, but every other set with I can't think here, with alternate arts, I don't know why I couldn't think about that. With alternate arts, it has performed far worse. So Obsidian, I do think, will be sort of in that situation where they will perform a bit worse than the sets forward and sets that honestly just have more chases and more, honestly expensive Pokemon, because this set is, you will see here, just very cheap, and for the booster box to be this expensive, it seems kind of crazy, which goes to my point of the booster box and just the whole set being inflated because of this new market. So the set is very small compared to other sets, just like Stellar Crown. There's only 6 SARs. I think it's the same thing. 4 SAR Pokemon, 2 SAR trainers, and there's 12 IRs. So it's a very small set. And here is basically just a huge, just in my opinion, sign that this set is the booster box is just very expensive and overvalued in my opinion for what it is, because this literally has the lowest set value in Scarlet and Violet. I mean, by far. Obviously, I mentioned Stellar Crown being the second cheapest, set. The total set value is $274. I mean, that's ridiculous. The booster box is almost worth as much as the total set value. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, I know this is an older set. The pull rates are also pretty easy in the set. That's another thing to be said. But just overall, I mean, look at this total set value. It's crazy. Literally every other set is more expensive than this one. Scarlet and Violet base is more expensive. Shrouded Fable is more expensive. I mean, if that doesn't say anything, I don't know what does. So the top chases are the Charizard EX SAR. It's $55. And then the next most expensive card is the Charizard EX Gold card. It's only $19. So I know in the long term, card prices don't matter as much, but the fact that it's this cheap already and it's not even out of print yet, to me is insane. And I just think at this point, it's not a great buy. It's already gotten very expensive. these boxes, if you were to have bought them obviously when they were in the 90s or even in the like low to mid hundreds, like you can make a better argument then. But the fact that this is already this expensive, I feel like it's not the best place to put your money, just because I do feel like the growth after this price point, it's going to be pretty slow, especially when this new market leaves. I really do think this is one of the most overvalued boxes, but I didn't put it at the top. I don't think it's as bad of a buy as Stellar, but I don't think it's a great buy. And I've talked about this a lot because Obsidian, I think, has been artificially sort of moved in price because of just the new market. A lot of people like the mainstream stuff like Charizard, and I think it's a big reason why it's performed so good. I feel like if it was released during a time when Pokemon wasn't that popular, which obviously was released during that time, it wouldn't have performed as well. I feel like if we were still in a market and things did cool off, I don't think it would have gotten this expensive. But it is an older set. Could be, argument to be made that maybe now is not the worst time because, it's an older set and it's already gotten reprinted multiple times. But the price point to me just, it just, in my opinion, kills the whole thing with, buying it. I really don't feel like this is, a really great buy as of right now. So those are the three sets, specifically Booster Box and ETBs that I really don't think are great buys right now. I feel like Stellar Crown is the most obvious one. Shrouded, I feel like you could still make the argument that maybe the ETBs don't get reprinted, but I feel like the set is just so like not popular. I mean, look at the sales volume; it just speaks for itself. And not Darkness Ablaze, Obsidian Flames, I really truly believe it's pretty overvalued right now and one of the worst buys. I mean, the total set value being this low to me is crazy. So that's all I have for you guys here today. Hope you guys have really been enjoying these videos. They do take a little more time, but I don't mind. Like I said, I like making these videos. I like it sort of being organized, everything on the screen. I think it's nice presentation. Hopefully you guys like this because it's easy to follow along. So that's all I have for you guys here today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.